Chinese characters, they look super old, kind of tricky, and really cool. They've been around for more than 3,000 years. They're like a living connection to way back when people were just starting out. Unlike our ABCs, lots of Chinese characters started as little drawings, like a picture of the sun, a tree, or a person. Every line in them tells a little story, like a picture that shows you what it means. This way of writing with pictures connects ideas and images. It's a special way to look at the world. Today, more than 1 billion people use these symbols every single day. That shows how strong and flexible they are. We're going to check out how these cool marks changed over time, from old bones to the shiny screens we use now, Gap2S. So why is this important? Well, learning about Chinese characters helps us understand a big piece of everyone's story, all around the world. They're not just shapes. They're like the special code of one of the oldest groups of people on Earth. Let's jump in and find out their amazing story together. Our story starts way back, more than 3,000 years ago, with some folks called the Shang dynasty. Imagine this. Kings wanted answers from spirits, so they carved questions on turtle shells and animal bones. These oracle bones were like the first paper for Chinese writing. They used them to try and tell the future, not just to send messages. They'd scratch questions about farming, fights, or if people would be healthy onto the bones. Then, they'd heat them up until they cracked. They thought the cracks were messages from the gods. The very first characters were like little pictures, a dot for the sun, a half circle for the moon, and a few lines for a mountain. Each picture was directly connected to the thing it showed. It's like looking into the minds of people from long ago. These weren't just scribbles. They had rules, like a simple grammar, and that started a whole system of writing. From these magical beginnings, a really neat way of writing grew. It would bring people together and last for thousands of years. After the Shang, the Zhou dynasty came along. And guess what? Writing moved on to cool metal stuff called bronze. They wrote on huge pots and bells. These writings told stories about what the kings decided, big wins, and special awards. These writings were longer, had more details, and were more organized than the ones on the oracle bones. Writing wasn't just for talking to spirits anymore, it became a tool for running the country. Writing on bronze showed who was in charge, kept track of families, and helped bring the whole place together. The writing started to look more the same and a bit fancier, getting ready for a time when everyone would write the same way. Now, writing helped hold everyone together. They used it for government stuff, important ceremonies, and writing down history. The power of writing was set in metal, and it helped shape what China would become. Let's jump ahead to a few hundred years before year zero. China was like a quilt made of different areas all fighting and each had its own way of writing. Then came Qin Shi Huang, the very first emperor. He thought if everyone wrote the same way it would help bring them all together. So he asked his main helper Li Si to make one writing style for everyone. They called it seal script, or this new neat writing style took the place of all the different local ways. Now, laws and big announcements could be read by everyone in the whole empire. Making things the same was a huge deal. It made talking to each other, running the country, and feeling like one group much easier. Seal script had curvy, cool shapes that looked great carved into stone, showing off the emperor's power. Even though it was a bit tricky because it was the same everywhere, it helped tie the empire together and made people feel like they were all part of one China. Seal script looked great, but it was too slow for all the everyday paperwork. The people doing the writing needed to be fast. So, a new style called clerical script, popped up. It was simpler, with more straight lines, and much quicker to write. The government workers came up with it. They changed the curvy lines of seal script into fast, straight ones. Clerical script became super important during the Han Dynasty. They used it for keeping records and sharing stories and ideas. From that, another style grew, called regular script, this one was super clear, looked nice and balanced, and was easy to read. Regular script became the main style for books and important writing, and it's still used that way today. In China, writing turned into art. Beautiful handwriting, called calligraphy, was just as respected as painting and poems. The way the brush moved, how thick the ink was, and how the characters looked all showed feelings and who the writer was. Using regular script as a starting point, artists tried out running script and cursive script. Running script was smooth and flowing. Cursive script was wild, full of energy, and more like modern art. Calligraphy became a way to improve yourself, like a dance with ink that showed the writer's inner spirit. Super famous artists like Wang Shiji are still celebrated today. People study their work and try to copy it. This tradition is still going strong, which shows just how beautiful Chinese characters are and how much people love them. Then came the 1900s, a time of big changes. People wanted everyone to be able to read and write. The old characters seemed too hard to learn. So, in mainland China, they made them simpler to help more people learn to read. Groups of people took out some lines, joined some shapes, and made easier versions. This made writing easier for everyone to get. These new, simpler characters became the main ones used in China, Singapore, and Malaysia. But places like Taiwan, Hong Kong, and many Chinese communities in other countries kept using the older, traditional shapes. They felt these showed more of their history and culture. Today, both kinds of characters are used. It shows how different places have different histories and care about different things. People still talk about it. Some miss the beauty of the old characters, while others are happy that more people can now read and write. How the writing changed shows how China itself was changing. When computers came along, there was a big question. How do you type thousands of different characters on a keyboard? The answer was pinyin. It's a system that uses our ABCs to type out the sounds of Chinese words. Then, you just pick the right character from a list. Pinyin made typing Chinese super fast and easy. It totally changed how people communicated. Something called Unicode gave every single character its own special code. That way, they show up perfectly on any computer or phone. Now, Chinese characters are all over the internet, on social media, in video games, and in digital art. Young folks are even making up new slang and word jokes, keeping the writing fresh and fun. Gap 2S. Instead of disappearing, Chinese writing totally jumped into the tech world, connecting more people than ever before. So we've seen how Chinese characters changed from being on old bones to showing up on our phone screens. They've made it through different rulers, big changes in the country, and new technology, always changing and getting stronger. For more than 1 billion people, these symbols are a super important part of who they are, their history, and their way of life. Every character connects people from the past with people today, carrying old knowledge and memories. They help bring a whole country together, give artists ideas, and help billions of people express themselves. Now, with computers and the internet, they help connect people from different countries all over the world. Next time you spot a Chinese character, remember, it's a living proof of how creative and strong people can be. The story's not over. What do you think will happen next?